Hey, how's it going? It's Sam Frost here, back with some more digital marketing advice. In today's video, I'm continuing with my recent series on answering common digital marketing questions about tools and platforms that I keep getting asked. And this question today we're looking at is, what exactly is Google Tag Manager and do you need it on your website? So let's say you've got a website that's being developed or managed by a website development agency, a marketing agency, a freelancer, maybe someone in-house, or you're trying to do it yourself. You might have had someone, an organization, freelancer, whatever, tell you to use Google Tag Manager. So what exactly is Google Tag Manager and do you need it? So long story short, Google Tag Manager is Google's free tag management system for your website. And by tags, really you're referring to things there like your Google Analytics tag or Facebook Pixel or LinkedIn Insight tag, or a whole load of other different ones exist as well, but those are some of the more common ones you might see used. Things like HubSpot tracking tags and Hotjar tags and all those kind of things. Various digital marketing tools and platforms. There are so many of them that can actually go into the Google Tag Manager system. The key thing to bear in mind with Google Tag Manager is the primary benefit to you as a business owner who's got a website or someone who's starting up a website for the first time is it simplifies the deployment and management of tags. So back before Google Tag Manager, let's say that you had a website agency that built your website and they managed it, and then you used a different company to run your Google ads and a different company again to do Facebook advertising. You'd have this annoying situation where if you wanted to, say, install a Facebook Pixel or a Google Ads tag or a Google Analytics conversion in some instances, you'd have to basically go back to the website developer and get them to add codes into the header of the website, or sometimes codes into multiple places within the website. Sometimes it's easy to do, sometimes it's quite time consuming and expensive. And so Tag Manager basically helps you overcome this, because really the way to think about it is that your Tag Manager code is installed into your website, and then you can basically deploy any website tags or code snippets you want via Google Tag Manager instead of having to go directly through the website code. So think about it as like a sort of giant container to which you can keep adding various codes and tags that can be used for all sorts of different purposes, from tracking website performance to optimizing conversion actions for improving your advertising to doing things like installing Hotjar for visual analysis of your website and how your site is performing from a heat mapping perspective. All of that's made a lot easier with Tag Manager. So really, it's a great platform to have on your website. It isn't something that you have to have. You can install Google Analytics, for example, on your website, both the Universal Analytics that's being phased out basically in a week's time at the time of recording this video, and the new GA4. You can install that, for example, without Google Tag Manager, but Google Tag Manager makes it easier to do certain things like tracking form submissions. So if you've got something like a form that doesn't refresh or send you to a success page, and it's like an Ajax form, for example, tracking that with Google Tag Manager is typically easier because there are various form tracking recipes, you might want to call them, that you can get online, load into Google Tag Manager, or your agency or freelancer or employees can do that for you, or you can work out how to do it yourself depending on the setup you've got with your website, and then you can actually do that tracking of conversion activity through your book a demo or contact forms or request quote forms or whatever it might be. So long story short, Tag Manager is really just a way of simplifying and expediting that tag management process. And it's hard for me to say exactly what tags you're going to have installed, but things like Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel and so on are very commonly done through Tag Manager. And at a fundamental level, there are two components within Google Tag Manager. There are tags. A tag is what is happening, so what's being deployed, like Google Analytics tracking tag, for example, or a LinkedIn Insight tag for LinkedIn ads, or a Facebook Pixel. That's the tag. And then you have a trigger, and a trigger is what conditions have to be met for that tag to send a message to whatever platform it's talking to. So for example, if you've got something like a Google Analytics 4 event tag set up, so that might send an event to Google Analytics 4 saying that a request a demo form or a request a quote form has been completed on your site, you would have a trigger that's set only to fire off and basically push that tag through to Google Analytics 4 when certain conditions are met, like somebody's filled out your request a demo or request a quote form. On the other hand, something like your Google Analytics page view tag, just the basic, hey, anybody's visited the site and we want to track that data about sessions and users and page views, that would be fired off on a all page views trigger, which is a sort of built-in default thing right out of the box within Google Tag Manager. So yeah, there's a really technical side to Google Tag Manager. There's a lot of people who've got a lot more knowledge on the platform than I do. I use it in a fairly simplified manner, but in terms of what it is, the best way to think about it is a way of expediting the tag management, deployment, and setup process making it easier to do things like track conversions on your website, also cutting down on development time and the hassle of going between developers and agencies and freelancers and so on, because oftentimes once Tag Manager is installed, your developer can kind of step out of the process and your web marketing agency or freelancer or in-house team can look after all of the tag deployment themselves and set up triggers as they need. And there's often really good kind of recipes and pre-configured options for various things that you can find online, unless you've got a very obscure CMS or a really difficult kind of setup you're trying to achieve. But long story short, it is a great time-saving tool as well, which is really, really helpful. And so that's really the fundamentals of it. Should you have Google Tag Manager on your website, it's well worth it in my view. It's a great platform. I definitely recommend trying to use it where you can, even if there's a bit of a learning curve involved. If you've got any questions about the fundamentals of Tag Manager, let me know in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.